I bet people have seen the videos of the oceans filling with plastics and contaminating our water. Well, this also happens in our air. And this is a serious problem in our world as these plastics will damage our air and affect the air we breathe. So in Rhodes' article for Sage Journals in 2018, he states that about 80% of plastics are stored in landfills, and all of those plastics are released into the air and affect the air that we breathe. So we as a group, between Lian Juan, me, Zach Zimmerman, Kai Rogers, and Alec Rheinheimer, we want to talk about the goal of alternative plastics, and that is to minimize as much as possible as the waste from production phase to its usage for consumers, and finally the waste process or biodegradation or the biodegradation. And now to Leon to talk about why we chose alternative plastics.
According to Kalman in 2019, plastic production has increased tremendously in the past 60 years. With that expansion comes unintended consequences, most notably the increase in waste and the environmental damage that waste has caused. We looked into alternative plastics as a means to minimize waste in production, consumption, and degradation, as well as to reduce the environmental impact that waste has caused. We intend to target industry and political leaders as the primary audience for this presentation.
Hello, I'm Kai Rogers, and today I'm going to continue from the talking points previously made from Zach and Lian about alternative plastics. This chart is from a study conducted by Dr. Baldowska-Witos, in which he compares the life cycle assessment of two environmentally friendly polymers, polyethylene terephthalate and polylactide, which are both used for packaging material. This chart measures based on the marine ecotoxicity levels, and the measure kilograms 14 dB is a measure of human toxicity levels. And each part of the graph represents the phase of producing the plastics, the preform before heating, the heating the preform, and so on and so forth towards the end of bottle cooling. In this study, it is determined that PET produces marginally more environmental harm than the PLA, as with 91.65 for PET compared to 89.35 from the PLA. Now going on to the video, which will further explain the topics as demonstrated from Zach, Lian, and me.
We're all worried about the issue of plastic packaging, but solving it isn't as easy as it may seem. Are bioplastics made from organic materials the answer? Can't supermarkets just make all plastic recyclable? And doesn't plastic packaging keep food fresh and prevent food waste? Today, we're busting the top 3 myths about plastic solutions. Why can't we just use bioplastics? The term bioplastics can mean 2 things: plastics that biodegrade or break down into tiny pieces, creating smaller bits of plastic that are still, well, plastic, or plastics made up of renewable organic biomass sources like vegetable fats and oils and cornstarch. They seem like a great idea. Who could hate our good friend cornstarch? But they can actually be just as bad as normal plastic. If bioplastics end up in the ocean, they can entangle and endanger sea life just like regular plastic. And making them also uses up valuable land and resources and can require chemical-intensive industrial agriculture. Surely recycling can fix the plastic problem. Don't get me wrong, recycling is vital for dealing with waste. I'm not saying you should just start chucking everything in the bin for landfill. But unfortunately, our recycling systems just can't cope with the amount of plastic we currently produce. Plastics can only be recycled a certain number of times, so we can't keep recycling the same thing forever. And making new recycled goods out of the plastic we recycle also uses up a lot of energy and resources. Doesn't plastic packaging prevent food waste? This might seem like a question with a simple answer, but the links between food waste and plastic packaging are complex. Sometimes plastic can increase shelf life, but it also increases food waste in other ways. When foods are packaged together, they have to be a regular shape and size. This is so they can fit into their plastic container. Food that doesn't conform to these standards doesn't make it. That means that food is rejected before it even reaches the shelves. Packaging can also make people buy more than they need. If you only need 10 tomatoes for your signature homemade salsa, but you buy a pack of 16, those last 6 usually end up forgotten on the bottom shelf of your fridge and eventually get thrown away. So after all this doom and gloom, what is the answer? Ultimately, supermarkets need to reduce the amount of plastic packaging they use in the first place. Sometimes packaging is necessary. Pre-chopped fruit and veg are vital for people who have accessibility issues that make chopping and peeling difficult or impossible. But the vast majority of plastic is not necessary, and stopping excess plastic at the source will mean that there's less of it in circulation and ultimately less plastic in our oceans. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this.
As you can see from that video, there are plenty of different aspects to the alternative plastics question. There are many different alternatives to plastics, such as glass, other biodegradable materials, and metal, but a lot of them still have the same effects that, like negative effects that plastics have on the environment. Is there really a proper solution right now? We do not think so. The modern solutions are still harmful to the environment and still have all the negative effects on animals, sea creatures, and other pollution aspects of the environment. The answer is not with us now. I mean, we do have biodegradable plastics now, but the manufacturing costs do not supply the means of production. Therefore, it might cost more to create these alternatives to plastic that are biodegradable, but a lot of them still do have the same negative effects as plastic. The answer is still in the future, and answer relies on future research throughout the universities and programs and manufacturing for the manufacturing industry. Thank you so much.